We'll get started here. Today is the 21st of July, 2010. We're at the New York State Military Museum in Saratoga Springs. My name is Wayne Clark. Sir, for the record, would you please state your full name and date and place of birth, please?
Donald Richard Oakley. Was where I was born.
Yes.
I was born in Amsterdam, New York, May 14th, 1932.
Did
I
you
lived in Nelliston, New
Okay.
York at the time.
And where did you attend school?
In Nelliston.
In Nelliston?
Yeah, grade school it was.
Okay. And did you graduate from high school?
No, I never got to high school. I had grade school, and I was 12, and I had a steady job on a farm then. You know, so it was during the war, Second World War then, and so I worked on farm. And well, that's where I never got back to school. I never went.
Okay.
And then afterwards, after I got off the farms, the war was over. I run as a mechanic in a Chevrolet garage. Excuse me. And I worked there.
And that was until you went into the service?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was drafted.
And when were you drafted, approximately?
It was 18th of November, 52.
And you were drafted into the Army?
Yes. Yeah.
Where did they send you for your basic training?
Well, first they sent us to Fort Devens. Then they issued us some clothing and stuff, but not all of it, but the field jackets, and we had underclothes and some boots and stuff. Then I went from there to Aberdeen Proving Grounds, and that's where I took my training there.
Was that your first time away from home?
Yes. Yeah.
What was Aberdeen like?
I don't know. I never got into town, and but I, just on the bases where I stayed most of the time. It was all right. It was in November when we took our training and stuff. It was cold, but it would get like ice over the water. But just skimmed over. It never got really that cold. Then you crawl into it, you break through it.
How long was your basic training?
Only 8 weeks. Yeah.
Was it an infantry type basic?
Yes. Yeah. And it wasn't like infantry did everything. We did everything, but it was only 8 weeks of it. It wasn't that steady day in and day out. But then there was school classes, some of that. But.
Once you graduated from basic, did you go on to an advanced school at all?
Yes. They sent us to a track chassis rebuild. It was a cross-drive transmission. A school that on the tanks, it was a rear end and a transmission, all one unit. And we had to learn how it operated. And what made it run, what made it do this, one track would go this way, a track would go that way, what made it do it. It was a 10-week school. There's only 4 classes that done it. I was in the 3rd class. There was 10 men to a class. Then they stopped it because they said it was too expensive for draftees. So it was said it was $10,000 a man it cost this Army to send them through the school. It's 10-week school. And there was only 4 classes. So it's only 40 guys in the Army that ever wound up with a 3908 MOS. And that was it. Then, after school, they stopped it actually. And then I looked at the bulletin board and I see I was Far East. I was going to go there, so then we went to California. Oh, on the way going, they gave us 7-day delay route. We had 7 days, so I come home for like 2 days, and I took off. I had to go to Chicago, so I got there, and it was cold. It was on the docks, and it was cold. And my friend Hutch, I knew him in basic. I turned around, there he was. So we two got together, and I was so cold. I said, I had my field jacket and my duffel bag on top, so I opened it up, I pulled it out and put it on. I felt warm. I said, well, heck, if you're doing it, I'm gonna do it. So he did it. There's another guy there by the name of Kaufman. He said, I'm gonna do it too. So the three of us, there we sat there, we were getting warm, everybody else was shivering on the docks, you know. Then they start loading the train, coming through train, everybody started loading up and getting in line. And lo and behold, the MPs come. Well, there they saw us. Boy, they screaming and yelling, come running over there at us, and we had to take our jackets off, made them put them away, and they held us there. And I said, you know, we got to be on that train. We're going to be AWOL. What are you doing? We don't care. You should have thought of that when you put your jackets on. We're keeping here. You're going down to headquarters. And I thought, oh boy, we're in for it now. Well, lo and behold, the train just started pulling away. So they said, if you can make it, go. Well, they must have done this before, because we run like heck. We got just in the back of the train. We got up on board and crawled in this car. The three of us, and there's a black guy there, and Porter, and he says, yes, can I have your tickets? And we showed him what we had, you know, the Army that give us the tickets. He said, I don't know what to do with you, where to put you. I said, I don't care, I'll sleep on the floor as long as we're on this train, that's all I care about. He says, well, here, you help me. He says, open this door, he says, you can go in here. It was a dining car, it was a bed in there, a sink, a toilet. I said, hey, this isn't bad. And Hutchins, the Kaufman, they give them a two-room. He gave them a two-room one. Hey, this is all right. So I said, where's the rest of the guys? So we didn't know. So, well, we said, we'll find out. So we went through one car, like 2 or 3 cars we went through. Then we opened the doors, and there they were. They're all in there. And the troop cars, all smoke you couldn't see. It was all down the other end. It was smoking, like setting up. I said, well, we closed the door. I said, hey, we don't want to get involved with this. Back to our rooms we went. And that's where we stayed. Well, the porter comes and he says, what time do you want breakfast? I said, what do you mean? Well, he says, we're serving from I don't know, it was 6, I think, 6 to 10 or something. I'm thinking, I said, hey, we don't want to get caught by any officers. So he says, how about 9 o'clock, 9:30? Okay. He come and got us, took us up there. We ate, was all by ourselves. That's how we ate all our meals. We kept away from the officers. And that's how we went to California. And everybody else on the troop train, in the cars, we had it made. It was nice. But when the train stopped, they let the guys off and exercise. Well, we'd get them peeking out the window, and we'd watch them because the train started going, and they were still there. We had everything ready. We just wanted to jump right off the train, you know. But yeah. It never did. The guys would load them back on, the way we'd go again. You know, so it was pretty nice that we had it made. Those MPs did us a favor. You know, so then we went right to Cape Stone in California.
And how long were you there for?
We was there almost 2 weeks anyway. And then we got on the ship. Then we took off and went to Korea from there. Oh, but Japan first. They dropped us off at Japan.
And was it the same ship that Hector was on? Or?
I was on a Walker. USS Walker was. Now they said there were 6,000 of us on it. Believe me, I thought the whole division was there because you were crowded. So you know, you come up out of the where you're asleep and stuff, you know, we come up and get on that, they had to get up on deck and you're just jammed. You had like a book, you had to read it like this, you know, you couldn't move around. And there's quite a few men on there.
Did you get seasick at all?
No, I started to one night, and there was, like Hector said, you know how you're jammed in there, you can't really roll over, you had to almost slide out, and I was down, I think it was second bunk up. Well, I thought it was me. That was nice. Well, I found out it wasn't so nice. But anyway, I squeezed out, and I got over, and there's a porthole. I unscrewed it, and I opened it. Man, that air, I got there. Oh, it felt so good, and that straightened me out. I said, I'm going to leave it open, which I did. Well, I went back to my bunk, and then the guys were getting sick above you. Well, you know, you had head, foot. Well, you come right down. Boy, I put a blanket over my head to keep dry. Oh, God, this isn't good at all. And the next morning, boy, I heard a screaming and yelling. This officer yelling and howling. I looked, there's water all over the floor, and of course, everybody upchuck, that's floating around too, and it plugged the drains up, oh God, and they said if ever found out whoever opened that porthole, because it got a storm at night, and it shot in there, was me. And I thought, oh boy, if he finds this out, well, no one squealed. I mean, they knew, so somebody had to see me do it. But our duffel bags are wet, everything else, oh boy. But I got out of it.
So, when and where did you land in Korea?
Well, we went to Japan, and I'm thinking, it was there. It was raining, cold, damp, and it put us in a concrete building on the floor. Well, some of us was. Others had to sleep out there in the grass. And I didn't sleep at all. I was just sat there shivering all night. I was wet, laying down that concrete floor. And so next day they took us out on the rifle range. They was rifles. And so we fired them, had to make sure they fired all right. Well, they did. But to clean it, we couldn't have clean rods or nothing. Well, in the stock, remember in the stock, the old metal door in the back, in the butt plate?
Yeah.
Well, we had you pull out this little brass, well, it's a little for a cleaning rod, and a rope, string wrapped around it, and put the rag in there. Well, I put it in, was pulling it up through the barrel, got halfway upstream, well, it's rotten, it broke. Well, I said, now I'm in trouble. So I thought, well, I'll get a cleaner rod, drive it out. Nobody had cleaner rod. So then they load us on that LST. They're taking us, going to take us to Korea. And I said, oh boy, the first guy gets killed, grab his rifle. I kept going over and over. The first guy gets killed, grab his rifle. First guy gets killed, grab his rifle. I hope this cleaner rod didn't break off. The thing would blow up, and the gun would blow up. You shoot it like that with that in there.
Yeah.
And as it was, we got an LST, and I was tired. And I walked down in the deck down where the bilge was, and just a little room down there. I opened up, nothing was there, but it was warm, and I could hear those engines chugging along. I thought, oh God, so I crawled in there and went to sleep. I slept for a long time, and I woke up, I come up on deck, I said, oh my God, I'm in trouble now. I got up on deck, guys were yelling around, everybody excited, and I said, boy, they're all here. I kept my mouth shut. I still to this day don't know what happened. Because they had to turn around. Someone said they were shelling the place where we're going to dump us off or whatever it was. So they took us back into Company A. Yeah, Company A, Busan it was, and Company A replacement depot. And that's where I was there. The only experience I ever had there was I had to go to the latrine one day. We were there for about 2 weeks there, too. And they had concrete with walls like this, and they turned like that. Well, I started through, and there was this guy. What a strange look on his face. He was dark, complected, and he had this knife in his hand. And I was going to have to squeeze by him. He stood right in the way. Boy, all of a sudden, he took that knife right across his stomach. And boy, when I saw that, I took off with a dead run. Still this day, I never knew if I went to the bathroom. Got back to the tent, and there, the guy said, what's the matter? Nothing, I kept saying. Then I almost see the meat wagon went down and picked him up. And the story was he was a Turk. And he didn't have enough ears, so when he went home, he didn't want to shame his family. Embarrass his family that he wasn't a hero when he come home, so he killed himself. They used to do that, take the knife, but they kill, like a Korean with a knife, and they cut an ear off and save it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin, he wanted to visit and see a friend of his who was shot up pretty good. And the guy, the bed next to him was a Turk, and he was telling, he said, it stunk so. God, they knew it was infection, it was rotten meat, so they kept coming in, checking his wounds. He was all right. Then the nurse reached under his pillow and pulled that out. Boy, he grabbed her, he's going to kill her. He wouldn't take those ears. That's what it was, that smell in his
Jeez.
Yeah. I don't know if Hector ever run into that or not, but with the Turks.
No, didn't know.
What unit did you end up with?
Oh, so then they were going to load us on the train. Supposed to take us on the train, then up to the line, so however we got there. But anyway, was getting on the train, this officer, lieutenant company, going, you, it got like, no, 7 of us. Come with me, he's running. He had nothing, we had our duffel bags and bouncing around with them things and our rifles and stuff. We got us on one of those little Hegan boats, the landing barges. And he took us from there, we were going, I didn't know where we was going, but we wound up in Kojido, the prison camps. And they were having trouble with the prisoners. There's a lot of yelling and stuff going on. And we was there, I stopped there. I think it was 2 days I was there. Before that Hutch, they called him, they got us all together, a guy stood up on a Jeep and he was yelling off our names. And Hutch went to the 13th, I remember the 13th. And then they called my name on. I went to the 7th Prisoner of War Service Unit. 8116th Army Unit, that's what it was. And that was on the other end of the island. And so they sent me there, and that's where I spent for the rest of the war while the war was on.
So when did you arrive there, approximately?
Oh, golly. I think it was May, June, something.
Of 53.
Maybe it was earlier than that. I was there, I think it was 6 months I was there or something.
Okay. And now the prisoners, were they North Korean or Chinese or both?
Mixed. There were both. Had North Korean and Korean, Chinese. Chinese, you could tell most of them a little heavier built than the Koreans were.
Did you have any trouble with them at all?
All the time. Well, they were constantly, every day it seemed like they were gassing them. They had to go off. I was in the motor pool, so I didn't get into the gas squads or nothing. And we had 3 trailers, 1, 2, and 3, and there was 3 enclosures. And, well, inside they had like 500 prisoners to each one, and more than that, because we had 12,000 prisoners anyway. And there was always getting in trouble. So they would have, when that siren would blow, everybody would grab the ones that was in charge of taking the trailers, the big guys in the motor pool. They'd shoot each enclosure while they were there. And then if that was enclosed, it was giving them trouble. Then the gas squads went up and open the trailers to get the gas out, and then get the prisoners out and throw the gas at them and stuff. It was TND, and I remember something, I believe that's the number of the one gas, that was the bad one. Then the rest was tear gas and concussion grenades they threw and keep them running. It made them upchuck and go both ways. It just flew, strong stuff it was. And then they would gas them, and after they run them and stuff, and then things would calm down until the next thing would happen.
And what type of living conditions did they have?
Well, they had huts, like mud huts and stuff like that. It was good, I mean, for them, and it was nice. And they slept on rice mats on the dirt floors. And they did their own cooking. They had, we'd supply the food for a lot of greens and stuff, and rice. Mostly greens and rice, I remember. We unload the bolts. They had a Japanese TK, wooden bolts come in. And we had the prisoners down in the hall, and they'd load. We could let them make them do anything that the Geneva Convention would allow them, anything that would benefit them. We couldn't have them do anything that would benefit us. But, so they would do it if they turn AC. It used to be anti-communist. They used to take their hat off. If they see it, like the guards, the guys that was in the compound in charge of that one, each one had 500 prisoners to take care of. They would get them by the side, take their hat off, had this red star on it, and they'd step on it. Then you had to get them out of there, because then that meant they didn't want anything to do with communism and stuff. They did get them out. But they had officers in there too, so you never knew who was who. So actually, then I had a job of running supplies for the prisoners. I had to go up on the other end of the, where they had 97,000 prisoners there. And it was just as smooth and nice, everything. Everybody was dressed good, and you know, our guys. And no trouble. I never seen gas. Every day I had to go up there. I never saw them gassing anybody. I never found out till after I was home, after I discharged, and I got married. My wife bought a book of Cozy Dough. And they were told about what they took all the ones that the ringleaders and ones that caught troublemakers, they sent them over there to where we were. That's why we're having so much trouble, and they didn't.
Now, what were your living conditions like?
Ours?
Yeah.
Ours was good there. Yeah, they had like Quonset building. They, of course, you know, the winds and stuff, they had barbed wire over and sandbags and stuff to hold them down. And we had canvas cots to sleep in.
And did you have hot chow, or did you eat sea rations too?
Well, we had a lot of sea rations, but we'd have hot chow too. When it, you know, it was, well, it was a strange thing. It's the company, the commander of the whole island, he hated our company commander. They had trouble. I don't know what it was. I never did find out. No one ever said. But they never got along. And well, I had to go get requisition. I go in. I went out of S4. They would send like, well, how much stuff I had to get for prisoners. Then for ours, like clothing and stuff. We'd write all that down, how many we bought this and that, and I had to have the old man sign it. It was our colonel. So I go in to see him, and he signed it. He just shake his head. Okay, and then my trip ticket, he had to sign that too. It was a pass to get from one checkpoint into the other. And I get up there, I had to go to headquarters. I report in there, and all those guys, they knew what was coming. They'd send me, and the old man had to see me. The island commander, I get in there, he threw me out. Oh, every day I get chewed out. Because of our company commander, I won't give you this. He kept marking, reject. Anything with us, he kept marking reject. So we couldn't get uniforms, our clothing and stuff was bad. But anything for the prisoners, he would give me. So I would go down and pick it up. I knew where to go. And one day, I got down there and I saw those bales of fatigues. They were all set up, they're all wire baled up, and I said, oh boy, nobody's around. I said, well, we need clothing. So I rolled those things. I took all the strength I had to get them on the back of the truck. I got a bale of the shirts and fatigues and a bale of breeches. Got back to the company. All the guys are coming. We cut the bale. It was all dry rot. They just threw them away. It was a mess. But our clothing, you know, our colonel, he didn't care how you dressed or what you did, as long as you did your job or your job was being done. Like we could wake up in the middle of the night, restless, we'd go down to the pool, grab a truck, go down to the dock where they're unloading for all that stuff with that prisoners, their food, you know. So we just go help them out and get tired out. I'm going back to bed, go back. No one said anything, no one cared like that. And I know some of the guys had Hawaiian shirts they wore. They didn't care. And I had a hat, and if it was a soft hat, the top got battery acid. The top was, I had hair then, it was stuck right out through my hat. It's the only hat I had. My pants was torn. I had the knees out. So one day I had to go up, and my clothes were grease, and my knees were out, and the pants. I said, oh boy, my hat. So I had a pair of there was those prisoners, we had coveralls for them. They're dyed dark blue with PW on the knees and in the back and across the chest. So I said, oh, just wear them. I had a pair of hip boots, because the soles come out of my shoe, you know. They got rotten. Well, I went up, not thinking, I'm thinking all the way up, oh my God, you darn fool, I got to go see the island commander. Oh boy, I walked in there, did I get it that day? He threatened to throw me in with the prisoners. I said, oh boy, he's probably crazy enough to do it. But anyway, he could just get chewed out and that was it. And I got picked up what he let me have, send me back. Well, then, just before the war was over, he came, the helicopter came. But man, what the heck is going on here? And then our officers run around and says, get in formation, get in formation. We never had formation. Well, where are we going? What do we do? Get behind the barracks, get behind the barracks, do something, get formation, whatever. So here he took our colonel's Jeep. They come up when he had a couple of guys with him, I don't know, other officers. Well, some way or another, he must have heard that we were back there. He come pulling back there and there. He's trying to get in formation. Here's some guys with Hawaiian shirts on, hat. One guy always wore a cowboy hat. Here the ones we had, some had prisoner of war clothes on. I stood there, my hat sticking up. He blew his stack. He started screaming, yelling, and hollering. Actually, he did crack up. And he told our colonel, I'm going to enclosure 3, you be there when I get there. He had no way of getting there, only on foot, and had like a mountain to go up over, but they actually couldn't make it. He ordered them off the island. That's the last we saw of them. Then right after that, the war was over, and we didn't know what to do. We had no orders. We got rid of everything. But, you know what I tell you about the Korean people? There was a lot of civilians outside the compound, the camp. And what we did, like the prisoners, we took 55-gallon drums and cut them in half, and then we took garden hose and split it and put it around that sharp edge, and they would balance on that. That's what they went to the toilet with. And they were good at it. They could balance on there like nothing. Well, then after the war was over, we got rid of the prisoners. Well, we had in one of the buildings there, they had all this rice, cabbage and stuff all over the floor, rice sacks all busted up and everything, so we had to throw them to the dump. So what we did, took those barrels there, some were half full, some quarter full, and they throw all the rice and stuff in there, and we load them on the trucks. And we took them up to we had like a dump. We could dump them over the bank. All the people up there, all the Koreans, we dumped that and they go bang it down, and they run down there and scooping that rice up and stuff like that.
And it was in the latrine cans?
Oh yeah, it was all in those cans and stuff. It was all. See, their waste was out of their body was yellow and soupy. And that just, and I thought, oh man, at first I realized how bad things were for them. And then, oh boy. And they were scooping it up, and the greens and everything, they took it, they washed it out or something. Maybe they used it to plant it, I don't know. But I thought it was bad. I didn't like that at all.
Now, how was your child? Did you get like steak or?
Oh no.
No?
No, I never had anything like. What we had was sea rations,
Right.
and our guy in the chief cook there, what do you want to call him, he took our sea ration. He would heat them up, throw them in cans with it, and heat the cans up, and we would open them up and eat like that. Then he took they had the powdered eggs and powdered potatoes. He mixed the powders together. It wasn't bad at all. He'd fry it up like pancakes.
Huh.
So we had that. That was good. But like you say, the sea rations, they were, like Hector said, it was in the 40s, 42 and stuff.
But I mean, what about like holidays like Christmas or Thanksgiving? Did you have any sort of special meals?
Yeah, well that was after the war was over, sent to Busan. Then we had regular Thanksgiving meals. I had to make sure we had that. But I'll tell you an interesting thing was, well, after we got the camps and stuff cleaned out, we had no orders. That colonel had nothing to do with us. So we had a lieutenant, and he says, we got to get out of here. We're running out of food. So we says, well, what do? No orders, no nothing. So he was telling me, he says, you go up there every day, or I did, when we had the prisoners. He says, lead the way, and we'll see if we can go through and get to us. And they're gonna get us on the checkpoints. And we said, we'll have to just see if we get these, then we come up with the idea, we'd turn the headlights on and drive convoy. Said they usually don't stop a convoy, so we did. We just grabbed what vehicles ran, and other stuff, we just left it. And we all got in and we're going down, we went all the way across the island, we got to our checkpoint, we picked those guys up. And we come to the ones up there in the main camp. They saw me, well, they knew me because I used to go through it all the time. And they saw me, there was all the headlights, they just waved us right on by. And down we go. Then we got down by the docks, and there's where we stood. And we stopped there. We was there 3 days. And the lieutenant went around, he checked on ships. There was 2 ships there. One was going to Korea, the other was going to Japan. And we ran out of sea rations then, we were gone. No, our sea rations were gone. He took me, he says, here. He gave us an envelope. He says, don't lose this. It's the only thing the Army's got on you. He said, hang on to it, don't lose it. And he says, now, he says, there's a ship going to Korea and the other Japan. He says, there's none going to the States. He said, go down whatever ship you can. There's no orders. So I'm thinking, gee, Japan, you gotta have money. I broke. I said, I'll go get, I remember that company A replacement depot. So I went, got on that ship, we went to Korea. No one said nothing. Got over, got there, right in Busan. I got off, was on the docks, and I weighed the truck down. I said to the guy, do you know where the company A replacement depot is? He says, yeah, I'm going right by it. I said, good, give me a lift. So off I go, and I see what headquarters was. I walked in, and there's all the guys with typewriters and stuff, they were going. And one looked up and says, can I help you? And I said, yeah. I said, I don't know if you can or not. And I says, I was over in the prison camps, and our prisoners got run. Now I came over here. Okay, let's see your orders. I said, I don't have any orders. He said, what? I said, I don't have them. So what do you mean you don't have orders? How'd you get here? And I was telling them, the next thing everybody stopped, they're all looking. I said, all he got is this envelope. He said, where the heck did you get this? I said, a lieutenant gave it to him. The next thing I know, I had people all around me and everybody yelling at me. Where'd you come? How'd you get here? How'd you do this? And they're hollering. I says, I don't know. I said, just this here. And then I was there, maybe 3-4 hours. They kept me there. And then finally, one of the big, some major come over, he says, I've been in this GD Army for over 30 years. I never heard of anything like this. It just don't happen. What the heck? He says, he's not lying. It happened. He said, they could have went to the States. They could have went home. He said, he was all, oh man, he was mad. Boy, then they kept me there. And that was it. Oh boy, I thought I'm going to get in the stockade or something. But they didn't. Then they just sent me all over to different companies. I think I must have went to 11 or 12. But see that MOS I had, they didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
And so they didn't, it was nothing in the books. I don't know if it was really or not, but no one knew. And finally, the 106 Tankers took me. It was a heavy maintenance company. And by God, lo and behold, there, my friend Hutch was there. That was nice meeting him again.
And how long were you there for?
Until my time was up. Yeah, when I was discharged October. It was in October of 54.
54.
Yeah.
And where were you discharged from?
Right in Busan, right there in Company A. And then they just sent me home. And we got on a ship, come home, and then went to Camp Kilmer.
Okay.
And then that's the discharge from there. And I came home.
Now, did you make use of the GI Bill at all?
No, I didn't.
Did you stay in contact with any of the guys you were in the service with?
Only Hutch, that friend of mine. We'd get split up, and we'd always wind up together, together again. It never failed. Yeah, he was from Indian Lake, so I used to go up and see him. And then the last time I went up, and I asked him to Blue Mountain Museum.
Yeah.
He worked there, and I wanted to see him. He said, he's not around. when will he be back? I said, he won't be. Said he died. Then I found out,
Well,
you know, he died of blood poisoning in the hospital.
hmm,
You know, so that was the only guy, and I
yeah.
never got in touch with any others.
So you didn't attend any reunions or,
No, no.
no? Did you join any veterans organizations?
The VFW and the American Legion.
Mm-hmm.
And then Grey Gears, that's a Korean, that's an organization, Korean War veterans.
Okay.
I joined that.
All right.
But I never went to any of the meetings, I don't know, just joined, and
Mhm.
that was it.
How do you think your time in the service changed or affected your life?
I learned a lot. I never got to New York City and places like that, in Chicago, and I learned an awful lot.
Mhm.
I had my problems with that.
Mm-hmm. What about the USO shows and entertainment? Like,
Only went to one. And that was, it was up on a hill. We set up on a hillside, and it was nice. It was just like sitting up bleachers, and you look down, they had, I can remember, they had a ventriloquist. He and the guy and his wife, and they had these 7 puppets that then they would pop up all about, and they were singing and songs and stuff. It was great. Everyone had their own voice. They'd pop up and sing something, or else they'd be having questions, answers and questions, and those people were clever.
hmm.
That really impressed me. But that's the only one I ever went to.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to mention? Any incidents or anything we haven't touched on?
Only thing in basic, I can remember there was when I first got there, well, from Camp Devens, the sergeant told me, says, you don't take your eye off of this clothing. This is yours. You're responsible for it. You keep it with you all time, at all times. Well, we got to Aberdeen Proving Ground. It was a night. Unload from the buses, we set our duffel bags all there. And next thing you know, they start running us around the parade field. I thought, what the heck is this? So they ran us around. I come back in a circle, and come back by my duffel bag. I fell out. I said, I'm going to watch this. I was told to watch it. So I'm standing there, they're running around. And some guy tapped me on the shoulder and says, what are you doing? I said, I'm watching my duffel bag here. And he says, what's your name? Well, I told him. And I don't know what happened, whether it was coincidence. I often thought that I think he had a set up. I wound up I was the 3rd Maine, the 3rd rank, and the 3rd platoon. That's where I wound up at doing basic. So every time something would happen, you know what I mean, Howard, 3rd rank, 3rd Maine, 3rd rank, 3rd platoon, front and center. Well, I'd come running. Now, this is why you don't do this. Next thing I get hit or fall down, he'd do something. That when bayonet practice, everything, he would get me, and no matter what it was. One time we were digging foxholes, and you dig it with be wide and narrow ear like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these guys dug it like this, a small hole, and they had like a bottle shape on the bottom. Well, he'd run around and say, this is what you don't do. And he Howard, 3rd Maine by that time. I'm halfway there. 3rd Maine, 3rd rank, 3rd platoon, front center. I get up there, he said, get in there. So I got in, and they had a tank down there. They started that thing up, and I feel the ground shaking. So I knew enough I had to take my rifle and stick it in your helmet. You know, the barrel up into your helmet so no dirt gets down the bore. And you got to squat down like this. And I'm down there, that thing went over me. Holy Moses, buried me. Oh my God, that went over. I come springing up out of there. I was scared. I thought, that's why you don't dig a foxhole that way. Get back and rank it, Howard. And back I go. Well, that was, every time. BAR man had to take a hill. He made me BAR man, actually. I had zigzag like that one, and I had a habit of holding my breath. I never realized it. That's why I ran out of breath all the time. Like pull-ups, I could do like maybe 5, and I couldn't understand it. It was on farms and stuff. I was strong, but I never realized I held my breath. No one ever caught it. No. So I got home, was milk, and after milk, and I tell him about it. George said, well, grab that bean. He said, what are you doing holding your breath for? Take a, gee, I did 40, I'm like nothing. I said, oh boy, if I only known, I would have passed those tests in the service.
Now, you have a photograph there.
Oh.
Can you hold that up and tell us about it?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is when, this was after the war. I was in Busan. I was in that tank outfit.
Uh-huh.
And that was the barracks that I was in. The picture of the barracks was me on the outside there.
Okay. All right.
So there it was, you know, and that's where I was till after when I got discharged from there.
Okay. Well, thank you for your interview.
Well, thank you.